church with you? She's like, sure. So, because again, I still had that feeling. I knew God, I believed in God. I didn't have a relationship with God at that point.
What made you want to go to church? Did you want to go to church with her because she was there and it was a way to spend time with her? Or was it more along the lines of, or some combination of both? I'm interested.
Yeah, I think it would be both. Because even when I was out there wandering, before actually non-dating PJ, there were several Sundays where I got up and went to church. Something was drawing me there, and it was always a different church. I'd get there on time, but I would leave early because I didn't want to talk to anybody afterwards. I didn't want that face, that contact, who are you, and oh, welcome, and all this kind of stuff.
I don't know that person.
Yeah, you don't know that person.
No.
That's not me today, for sure. So, like that, I knew PJ and her daughter. Her daughter is actually, they have a school there, pre-K through 8th grade. She was, I think, in 7th grade, maybe about that time frame. So they were accustomed to going every week, and as I don't know, so I felt this draw. Some of it probably was to be with PJ, no doubt, but when I look back on it today, I can see it more like the Holy Spirit starting to work in me and work on changing my heart.
Have an interest in different things. Start God's word started to become interesting to you or compelling.
PJ bought me a Bible. I tried to read it. Nothing. It was like I may have been looking at this wall and trying to read it. Nothing came. So just slid the Bible away. It stayed there under the nightstand. And it was, I can't say I prayed a lot. I enjoyed the services though, and I think I was hearing the messages. So it was about 2 years into our marriage. I was doing a lot of traveling with Dal, which I had most of my Dal career. And I still have some of a porn issue that PJ's not even aware of. And that porn issue got me in trouble while I was traveling, to the point where Dal called me in when I got back and sent me home. Took my badge, took my workstation. I was actually working in HR at that time, but I had an HR meeting before I left, and they said, we're going to have to decide what to do. Go home till you hear from us. I'm like, okay. So now I have to come home, come clean with PJ, because I'm going to be home for a couple of weeks. What do you say? What do you tell your wife? So I was home every day. And I was like, I was probably more thinking about what's Dal going to do? But I was driving somewhere, running an errand somewhere here in town, and I had turned on Family Life Radio, a local Christian radio station here. Never listened to a Christian radio station. But it was like they were having some kind of dialogue with somebody who had called in, and it was like, this was all like clicking. Because they were talking about reading the Bible and it was alive to them. I was like, I've tried to read and I don't see this living word that they're talking about at all. So it's like, okay. So I came back, either that day or the next morning, I grabbed the Bible PJ had bought me, and I go sit out on the back deck that it was under construction. So I'm sitting there in a lawn chair, and I was like, Lord, if you need to tell me something, I don't know how to read this book. I said, I'm going to flip it open. talk to me. Well, I did flip it open, landed in one of the Psalms, and I cannot tell you which one it was to this day. And I've looked back through Psalms. I've read every Psalm out there multiple times. I don't know which one it was. But God spoke to me. And he spoke to me in a way that it just totally convicted me. And I'm sitting out there in that lawn chair and I'm crying at that point in time. Actually came out of the chair and was down on my knees, just bawling like, Lord, pick me up out of this slime pit that I'm in. And his hand pulled me out. Now, as he was pulling me out of that slime pit, he showed me my past sinful life. I mean, it flashed. Things I did in high school, things I did in college, things I did during my marriage, and it was like wow. People I hurt, some intentionally, some unintentionally, didn't even know I was hurting them. And then the Holy Spirit came. It just took over, and it was this common peace, the peace that we just don't understand, and he poured it all over me. I cried for the rest of the afternoon, most of the rest of the afternoon. PJ's working full time. She's at work. When she got home that night or that evening, is actually we were kind of settling in for the evening. I said, I got something to tell you. I said, I don't even know if I even know how to tell you. But I said, I gave my life to the Lord today. And most of it was crying, very emotional. I'm trying to tell her this. She starts tearing up, and we have some discussion around that. I said, I need to call my kids. I said, I don't know what I'm going to tell them, but I need to call my kids. So I called my son first, and I told him, I said, I've turned my life over to the Lord today. And the first words out of his mouth was like, great, Dad. I said, but it took me 50 years. Because I had just turned 50 when this happened. I'm in within weeks of that 50th birthday. I said, but it took me 50 years for my eyes to come open to see. And his comment was, yeah, Dad, but at least you did it. Which still registers in my mind. There's still a spark in him. There's a glowing ember in there that hasn't been flamed yet. I hope it doesn't take him 50 years. Mm-hmm. He's in his mid-30s. Mm-hmm. But, and then, like I said, the respect he has for us and knowing, the life we're trying to follow with Jesus and for Jesus. But yeah, that comment just sets, that's part of the joy I have. I mean, I pray for my kids every day and hope they do come to Christ. But there's a glow in there. There's a glow. There's hope. There's always hope for anyone. But my daughter didn't have as much of a comment as he did, but she was like, very good, Dad. And they tell me I was a good dad because we've had this discussion. I'm like, but I didn't, I wasn't the faith leader. And it was after that, again, I'm a brand new Christian at 50 years old. I start seeing, as I said earlier, I always felt there was something missing in that first marriage. And it became very evident. God was missing. A relationship with God. I knew of God, my wife knew of God, my kids knew of God, but there was no, I'll call it intimate, loving relationship with the Lord. Mm-hmm. That's what was missing. And it was probably missing in the first couple of years PJ and I were together. we'll celebrate 15 years of marriage this year. Much different over the last 13 since I turned my life over. Here at the house, I've led Bible study. I actually worked for the church for a couple of years. I've been on leadership team on the church. I'm an elder at the church now. Those are things that have been so foreign to me in my earlier days. I look back and I actually kind of chuckle when I think I've led Bible study, because Bible study would have been just never go there in the past. Prior to knowing the Lord or having a relationship with Him.
11 years? 11 years, right?
Yeah. Well, because my birthday's this coming August, so it'll be, and like I said, it was within a week of the birthday, so approaching 11 years that I've been, and I can see in myself and other people tell me God has, in the Bible it talks about, when we're infants we need that spiritual milk. I definitely needed it, even though I was 50 years old. Like I said, I was very much an infant Christian. I feel like in some aspects I still am, and maybe we always are, because we always need to learn more and understand more, but that comes from God taking us through different trials through life, or helping us do different trials through life.
It sounds like a busy 11 years. You dove in. You trusted the Lord. We said the water's deep and it's good. Dive in, and you dove in.
I dove in
first, right?
I dove in so much that it scared PJ for a while. She's like, "Where are you?" And then she had some fears there that she would never be the Christian I am. I'm like, it's not a competition. It's not about, there's probably levels of knowledge of faith and Christianity that God reveals to us and continues to teach us as we study and learn and do Bible studies or go to worship or do like Via de Cristo weekends or any other retreat kind of weekends, Christian based. I said, it's not about being at the same level. If there are levels, I don't see it as levels. If you have that personal relationship with Christ, you're exactly where He wants you at any moment in time. Yes, He may want to advance you, but He'll work on you. He'll start providing you different opportunities. He'll close a door. He'll open a door. So I think PJ has come to accept, or she came to accept me, okay, He's out there. I was racing through, a Christian life, but it's like I got 50 years of catch up to do here, which I didn't. I didn't have 50 years of catch up. I just needed to go with the pace the Lord was leading me, and it's been awesome.
Saw Christian friends, opportunities, Via de Cristo.
Yep.
You were moving at a fast pace and just enjoying life, this new life given to you.
Yep.
This wonderful, beautiful life, a life filled with hope and grace, and everything's moving along.
So now I do have that loving, I'll call it intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And I don't feel anything missing from my marriage. I really don't. Yeah, we have our little squabbles, as any husband and wife probably do, but they're so minor. We normally end up laughing about them, a day or two later. It's like, what was that all about? And it's like, we need to stop. We just need to pray. We need to move on. Prayer is very powerful to me, in my opinion. Extremely powerful. To be prayed for, to pray for other people, to be prayed over, to lay hands. I love it. I love it. I love it. I've seen prayer answered the same day.